Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Elite Gaming. Oh no, sorry, Formula Elite Racing League. I went back in time there, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies about that. Welcome to Formula Elite Racing Round 9 here at Brazil, and we have a sprint weekend ahead of us, which always throws up some thrills and some spills 100%, as I'm just trying to get on the stream real quick. There we go. Stream is open. And what a sprint we have on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Brazil, the circuit that real life F1 will be racing at in just a few short hours. But before that, Formula Elite Racing will be tackling it, our Division 1, as here we go to the sprint. It's 5 red lights. And we're underway here in Interlagos. It's a good start from Vilven. Oh, sorry, no, Vilven wasn't on pole. It was Muncher on pole. Oh my God. My game is tweaking out hard. As side by side, Muncher and Vilven. It says Muncher's leading, but he's not, as it is going to be Vilven. Burry trying to go round on the inside of the Haas there, but not quite able to complete it. There's a lot of names I don't know here today. As down the inside goes the Aston Martin of Burry. A little bit of contact forces the Haas on to the curb ever so slightly. As now heading up the hill. You need to get your car in position, as there's a Mercedes off track there on the exit of turn 4. It's now down the inside goes Vilven. These two battling really hard. The inside will now belong to the Aston Martin, as the Haas will try and sweep around the outside, but not quite able to hold it. Will he lunge? No, he'll stay behind. So it'll be Burry who will lead from this point. As now Raccoons up to 4th place and is lagging. Lagging badly. We're going to need to tell him about that, because that is pretty bad lag. It's not even mild lag. It's now Muncher. Here we go, moving up the ranks. He's now sat behind Pim. There's now Power to On and Alexis going side by side. Holy lag. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to tag Raccoons because, well, this is some pretty bad lag. Now Power to on the inside. Getting past Hugo as well, up to 3rd place. There we are, now Power to On and Raccoons briefly side by side. The Haas lagging and tweaking out really, really badly. It's just not good for the others to be racing against this. Of course, it's not Raccoons' fault, but as Elite Silver has been off track, a reset to track there. I'm not sure if that's allowed or not. It's some leagues do not allow the reset to track. I think if league owner is doing it, as there's a car of Entok going off the track, and he just suddenly diverted off the track onto the grass. Very, very strange. As now Power to On going for the lead on the inside, which switches to the outside. Burry's going to go really deep. Power to On switches it back around the outside. Little bit of contact. Will he get the DRS? Yes, he will. What a move from the Red Bull up to the lead. It's now side by side. Hugo and Vilven. There's a little bit of contact. Hugo trying to make it free wide with Vilven and Burry as well. Oh my God, it's absolute carnage. Raccoon's going to swoop in here, try and get involved. But with that lag, I don't think it's going to be a good idea, to say the least, because it could cause some absolute carnage. Down the inside, or not down the inside, sorry. Raccoons is lagging outrageously hard. It's really difficult to tell what the fuck is going on with him, as apologies for the language there. That slipped out. I don't usually swear on streams. Down the inside goes Burry on Raccoons. Raccoons manages to hold on to it just about. But yeah, apologies for the language there, ladies and gentlemen. I don't usually swear on streams. That just kind of slipped out. Elite and Shoot better not crash into each other. One can hope. So now Burry going to get spun, trying to go for a move on, I believe it was Raccoons. Didn't quite get the chance to see Aiden Jones. Going to be with his teammate in formation in 6 and 7 at the moment. 6, 7 is now moving up the grid. There's some, it's the Lagathon. Once again, the battle of the lag. Raccoons just about wins there. Oh, sorry, it's not the Battle of the Lag, because the only one lagging is the Haas. Unfortunately. Now moving up the field. Power to One still holding on to this one. But of course, it's only a 5-lapper. This sprint comes and goes pretty darn fast, ladies and gentlemen. As now here comes Shoot. Getting past up to 4th place Raccoons, losing a couple of positions there. Might lose another one to Aiden Jones. Oh no, he was close to him for a minute. But there was, as Laser Giant Gun picks up a time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, but retires. So that will not matter there. As I didn't even get data up, I realised. Apologies about that. The real winner on the grid is Power to One. He's moved up 10 positions. What a start from him. And what a performance thus far. Absolutely unbelievable, to say the least. As for a minute there, I thought I saw a spot of rain, but luckily I have not. A little bit of rain in the final sector would have thrown up quite the end. That Power to One up on his best lap time, but can Vilvan get close enough before the end? DRS is not going to deploy early enough for him, I don't think, as it will be Power to One who wins the sprint, gaining 10 positions. Great performance. Vilvan comes home second, Shoot third, Raccoons fourth, Hugo fifth. It will be Aiden Jones 6th, Burl 7th, Pim 8th, Vagos 9th, Fizzy Gaming 10th, Muncher 11th, Renz 12th, Kwame 13th, Inferno Trap 14th, Elite Silver 15th, Entox 16th, and then Pablo Plays will come home in 17th, but quite a way behind. As now, here comes Pablo Plays up to the line, and that is going to be the end of the sprint. Sets fastest lap there as well, just an extra bonus, I suppose. There's the sprint podium. We're not going to bother with the full animation, because what's the point for just the sprint? As now, here is the final order once again. I'm not going to fully run through it, but there we are. That is your sprint order. So moving on to the main race, the qualifying and the main race. What is going to happen? As now, there we are. We get the 30-second warning. We're getting ready to go for the qualifying and main race. Of course, we have to do a lobby reset before that, or not technically a reset. It's just more go back to the lobby and ready up again, I believe. But yeah, to the lobby we go. And there we are, into the lobby again. So Elite obviously is the leader of the lobby, I suppose, if you want to call it that. So he will change the settings to, I think it will be qualifying plus a main race. Just waiting for everyone to load back in at the moment. As there we are. Everyone is loaded back in, so now Just be a matter of changing the lobby settings, and then we will be good to go. Short quali, and then we're just waiting for it to change. $25 laps. So that's 36. There we are. Okay. I was going to say, if it's only going to be 25 laps in car, we did running 35, but there we are. It has now changed. So everyone will ready up in just a second. And we will be ready to go for our main attraction, the qualifying plus race. So, I unfortunately cannot get the championship standings into OBS. OBS is having a bit of a meltdown. But yeah, I have let Alexis or Raccoons know that they are lagging pretty badly. It's not even like minor lag, let's be honest here. It's pretty bad lag. So I actually don't know what we're waiting for now, ladies and gentlemen. There's not really too much to say after a 5-lap sprint race. So I'm hoping we get going soon so I have something to talk about, I suppose. I mean, one thing we can talk about is Powertorn's start was just outrageous. You know, he was P1 by lap 3, and he started P11. So gaining 10 positions in 3 laps is pretty incredible, I think it's fair to say. So, yeah, there's not really much to say. I can't pull up championship standings, so I can't even talk about that. So yeah, we're literally just waiting for people to ready. What is it we're waiting for? These are times where I wish we had like be right back screens so I could just throw it to that for a bit. I mean, what is there to wait for? I don't really know what we're waiting for, so. As there we are, finally we're gonna go into the qualifying. Thank God, because as I said, nothing particularly to talk about. No comments in chat. Nothing, just the sound of silence as we're not going, it would appear. Because the countdown, there we are. Countdown has reappeared. It's stuck on 0. There we are, Jesus. That took a minute. It took its jolly old time. I think it's fair to say there. Okay, now here we go. Into the session. The question is who is going to take the pole position. There are more than a couple of contenders in this session for it. It's just going to be a question of who can hook that lap up. Getting a lap around Brazil, 100% correct, can be very difficult. It's fair to say, holy moly. That is wet if I have ever seen wet conditions. Opinions on Burl's straight line speed. I didn't see enough of it to comment, I'll be honest. So there was an argument breaking out in the chat a few minutes ago. I think it has stopped now, but you know, these kind of heated moments, I guess, happen in races such as this one. Late in the season, the business end, where all of it matters, everything comes down. Could come down to that final race at the end of the season. And, you know, even drivers who are not in a title fight still have that fighting spirit because, of course, they want to win. You know, they don't turn up to come sixth. They turn up to win. You know, that is the way of a driver's mindset, I think, is the best way to put it. As who is doing first now? The track is currently the Haas. Or is it Haas? Yes, it's Vilden. Vilden is currently the furthest car round. As now here goes Vilden to start the first flying lap of the session. Here we go then, riding on board for our first banker of the session. Into turn 1, get your car positioned nicely. Swoop out wide to open up turn 2 ever so slightly, and then of course turn 3 fully flat out round it. Make sure you have good traction because that can catch you up. We saw it catch drivers out in the sprint race yesterday. Is now up to turn 4. Nip in really nicely. Stay on that white line. Don't take too much curb because that could really screw up your exit if you do. It's been pretty nice so far from Vilden. Braking just before the 50 board. Down to 4th gear. Pretty conservative entry point. And then braking down to 2nd gear. Swoop out wide. Keep control of your car like Max Verstappen didn't in yesterday's qualifying. And now, just swooping out wide to cut in for this left-hander. The corner where the 2019 incident between Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon happened, of course. And now braking into the final corner. That's it. And then it's just a slightly bendy straight run to the line. As now, here comes Vilden across the line. It's going to be a 1:23.609. There's your banker, ladies and gentlemen. Fizz puts in a 22.5. 23. Hugo with a 23.3. Can anybody match that? It's going to be the Haas of Flatbread next across the line. And it's a 22.806. Fizzy Gaming put in a 22.6, by the way. There's now Laser Gun with a 24.4 on the Inters. Inter's still not the fastest tyre at the moment, clearly. On board now with Master Gamer or Kawame, if you know the name is now. DRS, he's at the point DRS would deploy, but of course in the rain, no DRS, up to the line. It's a 22.478. That is a pretty decent lap time there. HRT Alfie with a 23.8. Is now moving down to Burl. He is not pushing on this lap, it would appear. As now, that was a 43.2, but of course, he backed out of his lap. This will be his first representative time of the session. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers at the moment who have yet to set a representative that time. Fizzy Gaming putting in a 22.1 to go to the provisional pole position. As I wasn't able to see what his first sector was looking like, but it hasn't looked like a bad lap time considering he's on intermediate tyres. As now flicking and getting on the grass, that is going to be lap aborted, ladies and gentlemen. We'll go on board with Elite Silver on those full wets, so split decisions at the moment. Some on the inters, most choosing the full wets. The full wets definitely having a bigger share of success in this session so far. Of course, as the qualifying goes on, the track will improve, the track will evolve, and eventually I think those tyres will become the better option to be on. But that is, of course, speculation. We'll see what will happen as we go deeper in this session. As they're up to the second sector split comes Elite Silver, and that is going to be a 106.0. That is not particularly special, I don't believe. I could be completely wrong here. But I think it's probably looking like a 24. Yeah, 24.8. So it's not awful, but it's not like a grade A lap time. Of course, he is only provisional 15th at the moment. He, of course, would like to be higher up that order than he is at the moment. Now, moving on to Shoot Fizzle, not pushing, putting a 21.7 by the way, whilst we were paying attention to others and giving love to the other drivers towards the bottom of the pack. Power Torn has put in a 21.7 on intermediates as well. So those inters have found a little something in the last few moments compared to the full wet. So you've got to wonder what kind of effect is that going to have on the rest of the qualifying session. What are the ramifications going to be? Well, that is a fantastic word. Ramifications is such a good word. Now, on board with the Mercedes in 5th place at the moment, of course, set that lap earlier in the session than most of those ahead of him. What can he do? I didn't quite see how much time he was up in the first sector, but I believe it was an improvement. As all, that's a big slide there, and that is going to be his lap time over, unfortunately for him. As Shoot Fizzle with a 21.495. The track is coming to them. The car is coming to them. And finally, those full wets seem to be clinging on pretty nicely at the moment, as Pabio Plays has put in a 21.5. Power to on 700ths down in the first sector compared to his personal best, but of course he's going to have that little bit of a tow from the car just ahead of him. He won't want to get much closer than that, because then if he does, he will feel the effects of dirty air, which are not insignificant in this game, but it looks like they have moved out of the way. The other car just behind him now. Apologies about that. I didn't mean to go into the main menu as Palton now peels into the pit lane. HRT Alfie now starting another lap. Fizzy Gaming going in to 4th place. Alfie is 2 seconds down at the moment, not pushing. What about Muncher? Heading towards that 3rd sector zone now. As now we're going to move to Vagos FP. The man in 7th place at the moment is on a pretty decent lap, and he could go into the 1:21s with this one. There was a lot of ones in that, for instance. Up to line at 22.3, so lost a solid amount of time in that final sector. Wilburn now coming up to start his next flying lap. Aiden Jones, a 10.5 up in this session now. Pulling in big snap of oversteer for Aiden Jones. That is not ideal, I think it's fair to say. And he's just struggling to keep hold of his car now. He just can't find the grip he needs in order to make it work. So now on board with Renz. One of the only drivers yet to set a lap in this session. And that is going to be a 23.0. Only 14th. The two Saubers running 14th and 15th at the moment. Not a good performance for them thus far. Him with a 21-0 on full wets, by the way. That is fantastic stuff from him to go that high up the field, into the highest highest position you can achieve on just full wets. So clearly those tyres still have a bit of fight in them in the correct driver's hands. As now, here's Fizzy Gaming in 5th place. Up to the first sector split, it's going to be a second and a half off, so he'll move away. He's not improving. Muncher, we weren't able to see. Aiden Jones, not pushing, definitely. Entok, 2.5 tenths up in the first sector. What about in the middle? Down by a second. So he'll move to Pablo Plays, the man in 3rd place. Invalidated his lap time as well, so... As Pim has retired, he clearly doesn't feel he can go any faster in this session as Pablo spins out. And is he going to go into the wall? No, he just manages to avoid it, I believe. It's now Vagos FP now starting what will probably be his final lap of the session, as drivers now just about coming out on to their out laps whilst he is starting probably his final of the session, unless he backs out of this one. Which, he's invalidated, excuse me. And now Aiden Jones also invalidated. Burl has not invalidated just yet. Up to the split, that is a 10th of a second improvement. Unfortunately, that currently will not be enough to satisfy his needs. It's now moving on to Pablo Plays. Is not pushing. Power to one now starting a lap. What of Fizzy Gaming? So now here we go. Up to the line he comes, and it's nowhere near. He will start a proper lap now. As here comes Burl to the second sector split. And that is going to be 2/10 improvements. Still improving, but I don't think it's going to be enough for a crazy impressive lap, and that will be the end of his qualifying there. Big Snap puts an end to any hopes he might have had. It puts a damper on it, I think you could say. It's now on to on to Pablo Plays here again. He is now coming up to the second sector split, and this will give us a good indicator of what his pace is currently looking like in this session. He is struggling, sliding it through that long left-hander, only a 10th of a second up at the moment, but with another sector of racing to go. He could do something, as that's a big snap, and he spins out, and that is the end of his session there. What about Shoot Fizzle? What has he got in his locker here? He gets a slight toe off of the RB ahead, and to 120.8, as that is going to be pole position for him. I don't think anyone else is going to be able to get near that. Him getting toppled right at the end. And that will be Shoot on pole position there. So here's the results of qualifying. It will be Shoot on P1, Pim second, Pablo plays third, Flatbread fourth, Muncher fifth, Powertwan sixth, Fizzy Gaming seventh, Alfie eighth, Kwame ninth, Lasergun 10th, Vagos 11th, Vilvan 12th, Inferno Trap 13th, Aiden Jones 14th, Renz 15th, Hugo 16th, Elite 17th, Burl 18th, Entok 19th, and then TT F1 Blake 20 if he got disqualified from the session. So now here we go then, into the session. I will just be 1 second. Oh shit, sorry, we started. As I went to fill a drink very quickly. Muncher getting up to third position there. And now Lasergun behind. Absolute carnage is unfolding. Burl dropping down to 16th and getting back up to 15th, 14th even. Making good progress as there's a marker board destroyed in the background. Powertwan now trying to get past Pablo Plays and does so. Alfie now also joining the party on this squabble and getting up to 5th place. Is he going to dive? Powertwan hit the Red Bull, covers it off, thankfully, as that is a McLaren of Vagos facing the wrong way. That is not what he will have been wanting there. It's now Hugo up to 9th place, getting past Fizzy Gaming in the McLaren for 10th. As now here comes the Red Bull of Inferno Trap rounding up outside, capitalising on that slow exit from Fizzy, and does manage to maintain the position, but Shoot at the top is now 9/10 ahead and has broken away pretty nicely. He's not been able to break DRS, however, so of course the two in front, just in front of him, will have some drag reduction system opening up now. As actually, will they? Because they've squabbled and dropped out of DRS. Powertwan now is going to be under threat down this straight from the two just behind him, who are absolutely going for it. Alfie Force is a free wide. The two Williams working together. Muncher tries to dive it, but there just wasn't quite the space. And some shenanigans going on at the start of this race. I think it's fair to say Vilvan into the pits, by the way. Now here comes Mercedes down the inside. Big lunge. Just enough room given by Pim. The race leader is not having... the man who started second is not having a good start so far, and just about manages to stop it from getting even worse for him and stays in that 4th place there. It's now Flatbread just behind them. And we're looking to pounce on any mistakes they may make. Now they're Peloton setting fastest lap in front. Muncher around the outside on Pim. Manages to get it done this time. Has to cut a little bit of corner. Is he going to get a give the position back notification from his race engineer? I don't think he will. Or will he? As now there's going to be a free wide. Oh my god, there's carnage. The Haas of Flatbread tries to go around the outside. Gets forced out wide. I don't think there was quite the space to do that. There is a car of F1 Blake into the pit lane. As now in front. The top three have broken DRS to Pim just ahead. But with all of this going on, can the second of the two Williams get himself back in to DRS? He's not far off of it. Currently he's lurking. All he needs is a little bit of fake luck, I suppose, and he will be right back in the mix in that battle. Pablo Plays getting past Pim up to 5th place. Muncher has dropped down to 6th place, unfortunately for him. Hugo picking up a 3-second penalty there. So as things stand, will drop quite a fair few positions down the order. As they're on board with Hugo, side by side with Flatbread, there's a little bit of contact, Muncher, there's a little bit of contact, and Hugo will just about get in to that 6th place there. It's very hectic at the moment. Laser Gun has retired from the session, and there is a virtual safety car on lap 4 of 36 heading on to lap 5. Is anybody going to choose to peel into the pit lane? It's probably too early. Peloton just bails last second. I think that was probably a dummy move to try and force someone into a false pit stop. Flatbread, Pim, Aiden Jones, Flatbread, Pim, Hugo and Muncher all into the pit lane. Not Flatbread, sorry. But the other three are into the pits, as well as Entok joining them. Our shoot has picked up a drive-through penalty on VSC there, so he will have to serve a mandatory drive-through penalty in the next 3 laps, unfortunately for him. HRT Alfie dropping out ever so slightly of that DRS, of course. Shoot, Fizzle will be coming into the pit lane in a few laps time. The next couple of laps to serve that drive-through that he received. It's now Kwame and Elite Silver going, Kwame and Burl going side by side. Burl just about coming out on top provisionally, but then has to drop behind because Kwame got the better exit on the corner, as that's a bit of contact which shoves Kwame way out wide. Burl will have to give that position back, surely, and does so. Does so, as now the McLaren of Vagos is looking to join this party. Can't quite get himself involved there. What about in the next few corners? as now Shoot will come into the pits to serve that drive-through penalty. Get rid of it so he can focus on putting his head down for the rest of the race. He's going to rejoin in probably about 12th position around where Pim is. There's now Bell down, Vagos down the inside of Bell and Kwame round the outside. Goes Bell this time, goes way off track there, off the line, and comes across, and Vagos hits him. Due to that, I think he was expecting a bit of space. Kwame now going to make this a free wide potentially. Down the inside he goes on Vagos, who does give him enough space, just about. What about on the follow-up? Is Bell going to go for it on Kwame? Kwame is forced onto the outside line, which has less grip, of course. And now here comes Shoot Fizzle on Kwame as well. This is 4th position now. Now that Shoot has been in and served a drive-through, he's not gone in and pitted for new tyres, of course. He has, this is 4th position, fair and square. As now Pablo and HRT Alfie going side by side there. Pablo plays, comes out on top just about, in HRT Alfie rubs salt into the wound, ends up picking up a 3-second time penalty. But here comes Alfie back at him round the outside, gets it done. I don't think Pablo wanted to fight that too hard. If he wanted to make it difficult for the Williams, he could have, but chose not to there, I think, purposely. He doesn't want to lose more time in this race. Renz picks up a 10-second speed in the pit lane, retires from the session there. And then there were 17 drivers, ladies and gentlemen. As all there's contact between the McLaren and Hugo there, as there's a car in the wall. I believe someone's just hit the wall. The Mercedes of Kwame has been forced out off the track again, and he has not had any luck in this session thus far. Vagos up to 9th place there. Now Hugo down the inside, just about. There's enough space, just. Most people wouldn't even think about a move there, but he thought about it, didn't just think about it, and went for it. And now he's going to take that position away from Vagos, just about. But for how long? Because of course with that DRS straighten coming, he'll be gone pretty soon. Pim now side by side with Muncher for 11th place. Bell trying to get involved as well. There's a little bit of contact. They lean on each other, but it ends with everything looking pretty much the same as it was, you could say. To quote Harry Styles, now Kwame will come into the pit lane. He's not going to retire though, which is nice. He will carry on into this race. And I mean, with how many people retire as soon as they're out the points, he could still well end up with a points paying position in this one if things go his way, as that is Pim off track, Vagos all the way into the wall. And what on earth happened? I looked at OBF for just a second and they're well off track. Very unfortunate there. There's now 50 Gaming trying to go around the outside of Entok. I believe Fizzy has been into the pits. Yes, he has 6 laps ago. And here is our race leader, who has been dominant, and we've just not really seen much of him ever since. As Aiden Jones into the pit lane. Okay. Things have died down now, I think it's fair to say. There's absolutely nobody in DRS on each other at the moment. So it's just now become a battle of strategy. Some people opting for the 2-stop, some people maybe going for the 1-stop, although I wouldn't recommend the 1-stop round here, especially if you're on a controller. As now HRT Alfie has got himself back in to DRS on Pablo Plays, and we'll be looking to go for an overtake here. Apologies for the quieter commentary today. I'm not feeling it 100%. I'm so tired, I actually could fall asleep right now. I will be deadly honest. I'm just that tired. I don't know why. Now Elite Silver and Burl spinning off the track there. I'm not sure how related that was to Elite Silver, so I'm not going to say anything right now, but that is very strange. The Burl going flying across the track as there is a safety car. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to trigger a huge wave of pit stops, and that is really going to annoy Power2One, who's going to want to get out in front of the safety car. Is he going to get ahead? Okay, it wasn't quite out enough for it to affect him. He is a very, very lucky boy there, because that could have affected his race. If he'd have got stuck behind the safety car, that would have been so unfortunate. That's happened to me a number of times on a number of league races. People now diving onto hard tyres does make you wonder, are they going to be able to make it to the end? Because now lap 15 of 36 will be done once Power to One completes it, and then there is only a few more laps to go. As the safety car is actually clopping its way around on its own. No one has caught up to the safety car yet. This is very, very weird and very, very mismatched. Maybe it's going to wait to pick up the leader? As now here comes Power to One. Oh! Sliding into the pit lane, making an entrance in style, I think it's fair to say. As now onto hard tyres he will go. The safety car isn't going to come out ahead of him, so he's going to have to do another lap to get to the safety car. That's unbelievably strange. The thing is, the safety car's picked up some people. Who has it picked up? It's picked up HRT Alfie. So we're going to have our race leader. Okay, now they can pass the safety car. Okay, so this is unbelievably strange. What's just happened there? But it shouldn't be too bad. Because now the safety car will wait to pick up the leader, so it's actually not going to come in now. And you have to do 2 laps on the safety car, right? So it's not going to come in until about lap 18. End of lap 18. Oh! HRT Alfie hitting there. Huge slam on. Why was there such a big slam on there from those ahead of Alfie? As now, Hamilton going off track there. Very strange. Letting some cars by. I think that's lapped cars who are unlapping themselves, is what that is. Now Kwame has retired and left the session, unfortunately. I praised him for staying in the race, but unfortunately he has hung it up, hung his helmet up and called it a day, unfortunately. Oh, I've just unplugged my microphone by accident. I've just unplugged my mic. There we are. Back in. Unplugged my headset from my mic, unfortunately. Right. Safety car will not be in this lap because there are people who have yet to catch it up. So I think this is going to be a one-stop strategy due to the weird safety car shenanigans, we'll say, that have happened. Shenanigans that... Oh, no, it's not. Excuse me. Safety car in this lap then. But still, we had 4 laps under safety car. It came out lap 15. Sorry, no, lap 40. And stayed out until end of lap 18. On to lap 19. And now here we go then. Power to One has gone. He's gone pretty early at Brazil. There's not really one place to go. As now here comes Shoot and Hugo side by side. The Haas of Flatbread getting involved in this little scuffle as well. And Shoot loses out massively there. Down to 7th place he goes. Here comes Hugo on the Haas. Not quite going to be able to make it stick. But Shoot is fighting back. And he's back up to 6th place now. Getting himself past Inferno Trap there. He's not out of the woods yet. He still has to get past a couple more drivers if he wants to win this race here. Inferno Trap and Muncher side by side once again, with Inferno Trap just managing to defend the position, but round the outside goes Muncher, trying to force the issue now. It's just not quite working for him. Inferno Trap staying in front, staying cool in front of Muncher. Power to One with fastest lap of the race. Now here comes Muncher down the inside. Big lunge. Left the space by Inferno Trap, who I don't think minded if he went for the lunge. Because once again, just takes that position straight back. But could be under pressure here from Muncher, as there's a little bit of contact there. I'm not sure how there was contact on the straight. Inferno Trap ends up going off track. Him gets the position as well. Power to One setting another fastest lap. Now a 2.5 clear of the RB behind him. As now here goes Pim on Muncher. Round the outside, there's a little bit of contact. Muncher is having a little bit of a feisty race so far, I think it's fair to say. And a marker board was destroyed there, and Muncher dropping down to 9th place. HRT Alfie picking up a 3-second penalty, which currently would drop him down to 6th place in this race. Hello, Road. Apologies about that, ladies and gentlemen. Something fell over, so I had to pick it up. As now, Muncher side by side with Pim here. Getting past Pim up to 8th place there is Muncher. Fizzy Gaming retiring in the pit lane. unfortunately, for his team. Let's have a look at Twitch chat. I haven't had a look at Twitch chat for a while. So we'll have a quick look and see what's going on at all. What a voice crack. So I'm going to very quickly check something. I think my bit rate might be ever so slightly off. Apologies about this, ladies and gentlemen. It's all not having fun at the moment. No. No. Nope, anyway, I can't find it, so back off that. As can my OBS please go away? There we are. Apologies about that. I can't fix the bit rate at the moment. So many DNFs, yeah, I know. It can't be worse than a race I did last week, where HRT Alfie was actually in it. 15 drivers started, 3 finished. It can't be any worse than that. But yeah, as I said earlier, apologise for the bit of a lack of commentary at times. There's now Burl and Elite Silver side by side. The lack of commentary comes from, first of all, I'm tired as hell. I feel like I'm going to fall asleep on the spot. And also, I also just don't feel good generally. As now here comes Burl down the inside on Elite Silver. Burl just about managing to get that done. As now moving back up towards the top, Power to One has done it again, ladies and gentlemen. 2.5 seconds the gap to Flatbread, just ahead of him. Just behind him, sorry. Not ahead of him, behind him. Just behind him, and well, what a race he has run so far. He's been pretty dominant from pretty much start to finish. Since he got into that first place around lap 6 or 7, he has just absolutely flown away from the rest of the competition. He's flown away and blown them away. As Burl has retired it in the pit lane as well. So another retirement to add to the list. I mean, a full grid is all well and impressive, but if you get 50% of the grid finishing, it suddenly becomes a lot less impressive. So we need to work on people's staying power, I think is the way to put it. On to lap 26 of 36 then. 11 laps to go in this session. And Shoop just sat behind this battle now for second place. So he could still get second place, and if he can reel that 2.5 second gap just over on Power 20 once he is in second place, or if he gets to second place, then he could make a push for the win. That is, of course, all hypothetical. That all depends on him getting past this battle here. Now here goes Fizz. Oh, sorry, Shoot on the inside of Alfie, or sorry, around the outside. Can't quite make it stick. A little bit of contact forces him offline, and he can't get the exit he needs to make that one work, unfortunately. As now this battle for second place is really beginning to heat up. Okay then, Muncher down in 8th place, getting close to the back of Aiden Jones. Can't quite get close enough to work a move though, unfortunately, but does so on exit there. So pretty nice stuff from the Mercedes. As now, here comes Pim, who has not had the most nice time of it so far in this race. He's had some pretty poor luck since taking that second place in qualifying. He's not had the luck he would have wanted at the start of the race. As now Aiden Jones getting back past Muncher there for 7th place. Now moving down the field, here is Pim, who is only sat a couple of cars behind Aiden Jones at the moment. But he has a bird's eye view of this battle which has been waging on between Muncher and Aiden Jones for quite a few laps now, as we enter lap 30 of 36, just 7 laps to go in this race at Interlagos. And it started off with pure chaos, but since then has just sort of slowly but surely fallen away a little bit, unfortunately. And now, on board with Shoot. Once again, here he comes, chasing after Pablo Players. Is he going to get close enough? Forces the RB to go defensive, so he goes round the outside. You says, you'll go there, I'll go here. There's a little bit of contact between the two, but they both make it through unscathed. And the end result is Shoot up to third place, briefly. But then Pablo with the DRS manages to take that position back. So now here comes Shoot once again for another attempt at a move on Pablo Players. Here we go now. Pablo forced him to the outside once again. He does the exact same on this lap. But now round they go. Round turn 3 up to turn 3. And HRT Alfie is crawling all over the back of Shoot at the moment, who just cannot get past the pace of the RB at the moment. Oh, apologies, I didn't even know I had my controller connected. Hang on, let me just disconnect that so it doesn't happen again. There we are, apologies about that. I didn't even know I had that controller connected still from earlier. So again, my apologies about that, ladies and gentlemen. As now, here comes Shoot, looking for a move on Pablo, tries to switch it back this time. There's a little bit of contact, and that was just a colliding of lines. Absolutely nobody's fault, just a miscommunication between the two that caused that contact. And now HRT Alfie might well have a chance to bounce back on this one, but it looks like Shoot has the better straight line speed at the moment, and just about manages to stay ahead. Now here we go, like 34 of 36, and they are still going at it in this battle here. As now here we go, up the hill they go. Will there be any movement? Not quite. Pablo defends it pretty nicely once again. And this has been stellar defense from him as of so far. And Pablo continues to hold them just behind at the moment. Now here we go, lap 35 of 36, only 2 laps to go. But 2 pretty crucial laps in this race. The podium will be decided between currently 4 drivers: Flatbread, Pablo, Shoot, Alfie, and then Hugo as well. Aiden Jones at this phase is too far back to have a real say in that battle, unfortunately. But Pablo still defending pretty nicely. Shoot, getting quite close though, up the second hill of the lap, but not close enough to really mount an attack. Now, this is the final opportunity for anybody to move up the positions. Lap 35 of 36 will now be completed. This is the final lap, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go then. Onto the final lap. Shoot isn't quite close enough to make Pablo go defensive, but what about through this next section of racetrack here? Turn 3 now. DRS will deploy. Now, he'll open the front wing, sorry, rear wing, but won't quite get close enough to really open it up. As now, he'll use a little bit of DRS up the hill to try and get as close as he can to the car in front of him, of course, the RB. But now flicking to this man here. What a performance we have seen from Power-Tuan. Domination from start to absolute finish. And for that reason, he will win the Brazilian Grand Prix. Absolutely flawless pace in this race. Flatbread comes home second. It will be Pablo in third place. Up to second, sorry, after penalties are applied. So Pablo up to second, Shoot third, Flatbread barely missing out on the podium in fourth place because of penalties. Hugo fifth, Aiden Jones sixth, Alfie seventh after penalties were applied, Muncher eighth, Pim ninth, Inferno Trap 10th, Elite Silver 11th, Entok 12th, and then 13th will be Vilven, but and then we lost Burl, Fizzy Gaming, Master Gamer, Vagos, Renz, Lasergun, and TT F1 Blake. Unfortunately, and that is the order that we lost them in. As now that is Elite Silver and Entok finish. We're just waiting for Vilven to cross the line. And here is the podium for round 9 at Brazil. What an interesting race we've had, and hopefully the real life F1 race can be even better than this one. And there's the champagne being sprayed on all of the top 3 in this race. Thoroughly deserved. So one last time, a recap of the results. Power-Tuan picking up fastest lap and the race win in first. Pablo plays second. Shoot in third. Flatbread barely missing out on the podium in fourth. Hugo fifth. Aiden Jones sixth. HRT Alfie 7th, Muncher 8th, Pim 9th, Inferno Trap 10th, Elite Silver 11th, Entok 12th, Vilven 13th, Bell 14th, and then we lost Fizzy, Master Gamer, Vagos, Renz, Lasergun, and TTF1 Blake. So that is the end of our coverage for today's race. Thank you all very much for watching, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.